Have you told your friends that you see ghosts?
Oh, absolutely not.
Gina Rodriguez returns in Not Dead Yet.
I'm back, baby.
Who is that?
Oh, she's the obituary writer.
And Brad Garrett joins the brilliant ensemble cast.
Titan, Maverick, Titan of all Mavericks. These are all words used to describe me.
Not Dead Yet. Season premiere. Tonight, 8:30, 7:30 Central on ABC. And stream on Hulu.
It's the Happy Families podcast. It's the podcast for the time-poor parent who just wants answers now.
At around about this time every year, Kylie, Mrs. Happy Families, and I, by the way, Kylie and Mrs. Happy Families are the same person, in case you're new to the podcast. Mrs. Happy Families and I sit down and we review the year that's been. We follow the same format that we follow with all of our meetings. What's gone well? What hasn't gone well? And what have we learned? What can we do better moving forward? We do it each week in our couples meeting. We do it individually. We do it with our family. We do it every quarter. And at the end of the year, we kind of do a big zoomed out macro view. We're going to share our insights, our ideas and our thoughts to hopefully inspire you to improve family living in your own home, starting with me today. And then next week, Kylie is going to pull together her list and we'll chat about that sometime early next week. So, Kylie, let's dive into it for today. I am going to start off with the things that have gone well this year for Dr. Justin Coulson and Happy Families. There's a handful of things that I think have been really, really great.
I'm really excited to know what's on that list because at the moment, I can just see a lot of hard.
It's been a kind of a tricky back end of the year, but there's been a lot of good this year as well. So the first one, I think we have to talk about, we've become Lolly and Pops. You're Lolly, I'm Pops. We've become grandparents. We are so stoked. Indiana Sky was born in September to our eldest daughter and her husband. And
you can't really take that as an achievement on your end.
Oh, no.
You did nothing for that.
I think that I did a lot. I raised that kid and now she's doing a great job. And it's so great to watch her living with her husband and her baby and raising them. And a big thank you as well to Karen Young from Hey Sigmund, because she was the one who inspired the name Lolly and Pops. We really like the idea of being lollipops. I just really like that. And I guess while we're on the family thing, for the most part, our kids are actually hanging in there and doing really well. We've got a daughter who's doing some missionary work over in the UK. We've got another daughter who's getting ready to go and do exactly that. Another one who's done pretty well at school this year. So like just family stuff overall, I'm really pleased about how that's gone. We've got a great team at work. That's the second thing that I wanted to highlight. We just have so many great people that work for us. Evelyn, Caroline, Elizabeth, Anna, Mim, there's you working on the podcast with me, Craig and JR. We've also got Rachel and Olivia and Jet. I hope I haven't missed anyone. We've got a really big team doing a whole lot of stuff.
We do, and their commitment level, just as an employee, is amazing. But if you add their belief in you and what Happy Families is all about, we couldn't ask for more.
We do great work and we have a great team who really buy into what we're doing because it makes a difference in people's lives. I just had a chat the other day. Somebody randomly bumped into me and they just said, I think I recognize you. They obviously knew me from the TV show or something. And they just said all of these really, really nice things. And we do great work and we help people. So that was great. Hey, a couple of other quick things that have gone really well. I've released 2 books this year. My brand new book, The Parenting Revolution, which is doing so well and making such an impact in people's lives. And we also released the second of my Dummies books, Being a Great Dad for Dummies. So 2 books plus a TV show. Parental Guidance Season 2 went out. Fingers crossed for a Season 3. We're just waiting on the word on all of that. The podcast's gone really nicely with 5 million or thereabouts downloads this year, like 4.6 million downloads.
That still blows my mind.
So cool. We've launched new courses on ADHD and autism this year that have helped so many people in so many great ways. They're the things that have gone really, really well. So that's my what went well part.
Well, you've shared a lot of Happy Family success. I'm wondering, though, if there's anything personally that you feel has been...
Oh, you know what? It hasn't been the most balanced, brilliant year personally. My exercise regime has fallen off a cliff. I mean, it's just been appalling. I'm not doing anything consistently.
I didn't ask for that didn't go well list.
No, yeah. I mean, like I'm serious. The stuff that I've shared is kind of the stuff that's gone really well. my systems, my routines, my personal rhythms have been really out of whack this year. And other than the fact that we've had lots of conversations about how we're trying to do well as a family, at an individual level, there's a lot of room for growth. Maybe I'm being hard on myself, but that's what's going to come up in the next list.
Well, now that you've preempted it, I guess, what's your list of what didn't go so well this year?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked. Thank you very much. This is the bit where I get transparent, and I kind of hate what I'm going to share here, but I want to go through it fairly quickly because the learnings and where we're going next year is what matters most out of this conversation. So first off, because I travel so much and for a range of other reasons, my systems have fallen apart. So physical fitness and health, I used to ride like 10 or 15,000 Ks every year. This year, less than 2,000. It's been the worst year on my bike ever. I've tried to swim a little bit, but haven't got that going. No gym work, like physically, not real great. From a spiritual point of view, my devotional practice has been pretty lackluster as well. It just hasn't been happening. All the stuff that matters to me that I'm supposed to be getting right, I've prioritized other things above it and haven't gone well. Now, there are reasons for that. For example, my body broke down in September when I broke my back and my neck in a surfing accident. Couple that with a running injury. I was training for a marathon, but I only got 3 weeks into the training, and then my knee completely busted itself, and I've had this shoulder injury. I'm sounding like a really old, grumpy complaining.
You kind of are.
So
yeah.
I'll stop on that, but there's just been all that
body breakdown.
I know, it's been terrible. So there are a couple of things that have just been not quite right. We put a lot of money into developing the ultimate parenting platform online, and we failed spectacularly. That has the cost has been enormous, and we have ended up with no result. In fact, the whole thing has ended up going in the bin. And so absolutely heartbreaking to prioritize spending that way and have people let us down. We've pulled the pin on those agencies, and there's a lot of learnings there, but that's also been another thing that has not gone well. It's been a 2.5 year journey that's been really, really hard to take. And I think probably two other things that I'll just highlight briefly. Number one, holidays. We're having them because we always talk at this time of year about how we need to do our holidays better. They're not going to plan still. So holiday one was a cruise. We went on a cruise, which was a first-time thing for me. I'd never been on a cruise before. I didn't love it. But what I really didn't love even more was that I got so seasick that I ended up having needles jabbed into my butt cheeks.
I didn't love the extra 10 kilos I brought home with me.
And we spent 17 days on the ocean and like 3 days on land. And really, I think it needed to be around the other way. We would have had I think that we would have had more fun if we'd done 17 days on land and 3 days in travel, whether it's on the ocean or airplanes or whatever. So, and it was supposed to be a cheap holiday. You got us this relocation cruise to Hawaii. So a really, really, really cheap holiday. What was it? 6 of us or 5 of us to cruise for 17 days. Like it was super cheap. But then the airfares to come home cost more than the entire cruise.
Well, when I gave you the spiel, I didn't actually realize it was a relocation cruise. I thought it was going around circle.
Yeah, no. So not so cheap and not so fun.
But once I realised that, I wasn't letting go of the dream.
That's right. So we did the cruise. Probably not going to do it again in a hurry. Holiday number 2, we were supposed to go to Cairns. I normally don't get sick. I got sick, and that meant that you went on a holiday without me. I cancelled my flight. And
well, I know you said it didn't go well, but I had a really good holiday.
You had a great holiday. And then holiday number 4 was cancelled. We have a tradition that at age 16 we take each of our daughters on a special holiday, just that child, you and I. And that trip to Queenstown was cancelled due to a family tragedy, which is kind of what I'm going to end what didn't go well this year on. We've had 2 deaths in the last couple of months. My elderly grandmother. We were sad that she died, but also relieved. She was 95 years old, long, slow deterioration, life well lived. And it was a relief mixed with the sadness of farewelling her. But then, tragically in November, suicide took my wonderful nephew, Logan, at age 20. I wrote about it. We've talked about it a lot on the podcast. And honestly, it changed me forever. It's really kind of put a dampener on everything that this year has been. It's overshadowed the year in a really profound and powerful way, and I don't really know how to deal with it yet. I'm mostly good now. It's been over a month. I'm mostly good, but every now and again, I just have a really bad day or a really bad moment, and I find it terribly hard. I actually found a poem on Facebook. My mum found this poem and she shared it. It's a poem from Donna Ashworth called "You Don't Just Lose Someone Once." And I thought I'd read it if I can get through it. It says, "You don't just lose someone once. You lose them over and over, sometimes in the same day. When the loss momentarily forgotten creeps up and attacks you from behind, fresh waves of grief as the realization hits home, they are gone. Again. You don't just lose someone once. You lose them every time you open your eyes to a new dawn. And as you awaken, so does your memory. So does the jolting bolt of lightning that rips into your heart. They're gone. Again. Losing someone is a journey, not a one-off. There is no end to the loss. There is only a learned skill on how to stay afloat when it washes over. Be kind to those who are sailing this stormy sea. They have a journey ahead of them and a daily shock to the system each time they realize they are gone. Again. You don't just lose someone once. You lose them every day for a lifetime." And I know that's kind of a bit of a downer, but when you look at what's gone well this year and what's not gone well, that's something that has not gone well. And I'm just amazed at how it's impacted me and how I've retained that sadness, that sorrow. In the corner of our studio here is a surfboard leaning against the wall. My sister was so kind. She gave me Logan's surfboard. I'm the only family member who really surfs, and she gave me his surfboard. And every time the surf's good, I take that out so I can go surfing with him, because I'm trying to turn it into something good. And I've got this Happy Families platform, and I'm trying to turn it into something good. I'm trying to make a difference in people's lives in memory of a life lost too soon.
While those two lists are really important part of our process of reviewing, I think the list that's most important is what we've learned from it and what our plan is to move forward. When you think about, especially the last handful of months of this year, it's been really hard, and there's been a lot to kind of work through as a family and individually. But I'm really interested to know what your learning has been from the hard times and the good times this year.
Well, I'm going to share a handful of things really quickly because our time is running out. First off, a happiness lesson. And it's actually been through the pain of the loss that this has really been drummed home to me. I've shared this a couple of times on the podcast this year, but gee, it stood out to me a lot. Where there is gratitude, there is joy. Now, it can also be sadness as well, but without gratitude, there just can't be any joy. And so as I look at you or the kids or our home or the lifestyle that we've tried to develop and create, or the work that I do or the team that I have, or when I think about even the hard things that we've discussed here, I try to find an opportunity to be grateful, because when I feel grateful, I feel joy. I feel peace and consolation and goodness. So that's really a big thing. If you're struggling to be happy, find something to be grateful for. It's not about finding a silver lining. It's not about saying, I'm going to be optimistic and breathtakingly happy no matter what. That's not what it's about. Rather, it's about looking at that surfboard in the corner and feeling grateful that I have it, because I can have the memory of Logan with me all the time. It's finding something to be grateful for, and it actually brings joy. It brings consolation. It brings goodness, whether it's focusing on that sort of stuff or much more positive things. So that's the first thing. Second thing, really quickly and really easily, when you want something done, you got to
do it yourself.
Do it yourself, yeah. Or find someone. Like, how hard is it to find somebody who can genuinely and trustworthily do something? Now, obviously, if I'm going to build a house, I'm going to pay someone to do that, right? But in terms of building this digital platform, we've decided to bring it in-house. We've made some really, really big positive developments, and it's going better. So that doesn't always work with everything, but certainly we're finding that's working for us. Third thing, this is something that I've learned that doesn't actually apply to either of the lists, but it's something that's really, really working for me at the moment. Our brains lie to us all the time in terms of what's going to make us feel good. Our brains are designed to make us feel good more than they're designed to help us be better, I think is how I would say it. So our brains make us think that we want the chocolate or the greasy chips or whatever the unhealthy stuff is.
I was looking for the next dopamine hit, right?
Yeah, that's right. We want it so badly because of that. Our brain wants it, but our body doesn't. And it's the same with our emotions. Our brain loves to release those big emotions like anger and anxiety. It feels so good in the moment. But while our brain is lying to us about feeling better by expressing our anger and anxiety or eating the food or staying in bed or pursuing whatever selfish outcomes we're chasing, it's not actually working for us. Our body and our relationships and our psychology, they all need us to listen to them more than we listen to our brain, because our brain is actually deceitful and does not work in our best long-term interests. So that's been a really big eye-opener for me. And as I've recognized that, I've become really indifferent to eating junky food, for example. Like, I'm still happy enough to have some, I guess, but whenever I eat it, I'm like, yeah, my brain wanted it, but my body didn't. And it's much easier for me to make healthier decisions now. That's just an insight and something that I'm looking forward to focusing on more in the new year.
Do you have any others?
Oh, I've got a couple more, but I think
I shouldn't even have asked.
Yeah, I know, but I'm only going to, well, when I say a couple more, I've got about 8 more, but I'm only going to share 2 more. Okay. So losing Logan, I mean, this, like I said, this permeates everything for me at the moment, and it probably will for a long time yet. Saying goodbye to Logan might have been one of the hardest things that I've ever had to do in my life. And it was something that we've talked about on the podcast before, but it's really stuck with me. Whenever somebody said I love you to him, he'd always stop and say, love you who? Or what do you mean? Or finish the sentence. Or like he would wait until they said, love you, Logan. And our family has adopted that in the way that we speak to each other now. It's changed how we feel about each other. And some other things that we've made the commitment to do. We're going to have a monthly weekend away, even if it's just camping or staying with family or going to a Big 4 caravan park or something like that, just so that we can reconnect deeply each month. You've pointed out the importance of that. I hadn't picked up on it, and I'm really excited to make sure that happens. Reminding each other that we love each other no matter what. Focusing on actually getting our holidays happening next year is a big one for me. There's so many learnings about making holidays work better. But my last, I guess, learning from the year, a little while ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, I was catching an aeroplane to go and give a talk somewhere. I think it was going to Melbourne, and they were trying to shift my seat. Because I fly so often, they give me 4 free upgrades a year, 4 complimentary upgrades to business class, and I wanted to get an upgrade. I always forget to use them. I usually don't use them. I just sit wherever I'm told. I'm pretty relaxed like that. But I decided to go and ask for it because I just was feeling really down. The whole Logan thing was really in my head. And they went to upgrade me, and exactly, literally the same moment that they pushed the button, somebody else pushed the button and the other person got the seat, not me. And she was really apologetic. The lady behind the counter was, I'm so sorry, I got this wrong and it's my fault. And I just said, well, you know what? I'm probably oversharing here, but I lost my nephew, Logan, a couple of weeks ago. He took his life, and it's helped me to really take perspective on stuff. And what you're describing to me about how somebody else got the seat that I wanted, it's so unimportant. I'm not bothered about it. It would have been nice. I'm not sad. I'm not upset. I'm not cranky. I'm totally fine with whatever. And she kind of looked at me like, first of all, I'm really, really sorry. But secondly, she was like, we do get kind of worried about the wrong stuff, don't we? And it reminded me of a quote from an author and futurist called Robert Anton Wilson, who said, and I quote, "You are precisely as big as what you love and precisely as small as what you allow to annoy you." And I think for 2024, my main goal is just to not let small things annoy me. Hopefully not even let big things annoy me. I want to be bigger than that. And I think the last couple of months have really cemented that for me. So that's my annual review. They're my insights. They're the things that have stood out to me.
Well, I guess I'm going to have to get busy writing a list, aren't I?
I can't wait
Holy
to hear
smokes.
what you've got to share. I'm sorry for going over time. Well, you know what I'm like. The Happy Families podcast, though, is produced by Justin Rawn for Bridge Media, and Craig Bruce is our executive producer. Really hope that this has been useful, and thanks for letting me share. We'll be back tomorrow with our top books for 2023. Mine and Kylie's, the favourite books that we've read over the last year that we think might inspire you across the summer.